Welcome to another exciting episode of Master Now with our wonderful heroes, Wilda, the Water Being,
Blub, blub, blub.
Rowan, the Living Glass,
I really hope that Spencer gets back soon with that water tower.
Transient, the Meta Manipulator,
I think we might have bigger problems than the water tower.
Jules, the Gadgeteer, who's muted,
Yeah.
Spencer, the Super Cat, who's
Hey, it's my time to say something. I'll have a huge speech. Wait, no, please stay here.
and Dahlia, the Living Dead Girl, who is currently out for the day, possibly due to illness. Last time on Master None, our heroes attempted to speed up their procurement of the water towers, with Jules switching out transmitters onto a different convoy to distract Dr. Himmel. Yet they discovered Himmel's henchmen were already inside the steel factory. They changed that. Beetle Cyborg and Electricio were attempting to convince Spencer to attend a meeting with the good doctor, only for Beetle Cyborg to be isolated and taken care of by Jules with a lovely new fashion idea. Electricia, however, leaves info on where the duo can find the doctor in town. Meanwhile, Transy and the rest of the group are informed of an oddity in the middle of a nearby park, an interdimensional break. The alchemist discovers the issue with discusses the issues with the being of truth and finds the break acts more like a wound in flesh. While those outside of his mental space witness another Dahlia arguing with her dimension's Black Betty. Will our heroes understand how to close this temporal tear? And what will Jules and Spencer say to Himmel at the revealed location? Find out today. Once more, we pick back up with Spencer and Jules making their way over towards the revealed location, which happened to be a Big Boy's Burger restaurant, in hopes to anticipate Spencer's weakness of food. I take it you both are currently like genociding there straight at Mad Mach speed.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
As you guys get there, it is strangely empty. Despite it looking as though it should have already had more people there, given that it's bright and early, almost 11 o'clock, if not closer to noon. Almost no activity is occurring at this burger joint. And upon stepping in, there seems to only be one person who is currently enjoying a large burger to himself. Now, note, I have not been able to find a good picture, but once I do, I will post it in the villainous images so that we can gawk and awe at the revealed Dr. Himmel. But for now, you do see by a man in a large doctor's coat. Seems to precariously use that thing, given how stained it is. The man with his frilled, wild, reddish brown hair and almost impossible to see through thick square glasses, stares at you both and gives a gentle wave. Come, sit down. Mm. The double patty is actually awful. Come, take a seat. And I order for you both.
Spencer will sit down.
Hello. Thank you.
Jace will sit down, but he doesn't particularly say anything.
Jules?
Jules, sorry. Brain failure, my apologies.
It's all right. Jason's always sitting.
Or flying, one of the two.
True, one of the two. Now more. I was expecting electricity at least. But enough of this delicious stuff. What's I have brought you both here more so is to ask about you, minute favor. If anything, a deal, one would say.
Spencer's waiting for his burger, but he's listening, half listening, kind of.
The burger is So go ahead.
You as well.
One more time.
That's rather amusing, Himmel. I have a bit of an offer for you as well.
Oh, it's strange to have a counteroffer, especially from a gentleman such as yourself, Mr. He adjusts his glasses. He tries to get a better look at you, unable to recognize Jace now that his hair is blonde and he's standing. Well, was standing, now sitting.
Maxim. But you know my better half much, much more intimately.
That's a half. Tell me now, you aren't referring to the one we know as Jace now, would you?
We used to be one and the same, but unfortunately, due to your unique style of parenting, there was just enough disdain in that little soul of his to splinter off and become me.
Oh. Oh wait, so you are you okay? So before I make any adjustments, and bear in mind, this is 2002. Everyone's free to have their own lifestyle, but you two are the one and the same, and not husband and.
We share a body for the time being, yes. We are physically each one half of the other.
Oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. I still had hopes for the young lad to also procure himself an heir. But go on.
I want to ask a question before I get into what I have to say. And Spencer, if you feel free to interrupt at this current venture. When I get to talking later and don't want to be interrupted, I will let you know. But for now, Himmel, I have a very important question that really will define how the rest of this conversation goes.
Himmel takes a fry, crunches it. Mm, go on.
You had a poor, isolated child with brilliance and the blood of a god in their veins under your care. You could have raised them with kindness and compassion such that they would have been able to do, or able and willing to do, basically anything you asked of them. And instead, you routinely treated them with contempt and mocked them for their ailments without showing really any resolve regard for that matter for their achievements. I want to know why. What compelled you to make an enemy out of someone who could have so easily been an ally?
Truly, we've always come across this current question. To be fair, yeah, one could have raised a childling of a god with kinder intentions. But then what kind of product would that have made? Yes, I could have been a proper father to that lad. But then how would he be able to take care of himself? How would he be able to truly separate good from evil if my intentions weren't truly good in the first place? Nine. I could not do that through evil to the young man and craft such a lie. Nay, I felt like a diamond. He needed pressure, strong enough to make him tougher, cleaner, purer. And doing that with kindness would not be enough. Doing that with care would have only caused him to be fractured. And if there was any sense of godling, then the adversity should have at least accelerated his healing process. But I'm overstepping. A lot of my research has already shown that most indulgence do not truly allow one with such a seed to have proper soil to grow. Such advantage, such inheritance needs to be properly watered through the sweat of determination and through the blood of anger. For the kind and sweet would not have would only have nurtured the human, not the godly.
I
I
feel in
wanted
that
to give.
regard you are perhaps slightly mistaken. Because if I recall correctly, The story of Hephaestus is quite similar to the story that initially started off my other half. He was considered an ugly thing by the deity which brought him into the world, and so was cast out. But after being cast out, he was found and raised with kindness, such that when the gods themselves came and threatened the one they cared about, they were able to bring the king of the gods to their knees with their own machinations.
Ah, but that was not my intention. Nor was it, nor would I have deigned to have considered going through the Hephaestus plan. Nay, a child of such caliber, such purity, given that he is one of the rare unions between, well, you would know.
He nods.
Such a child would have needed mm, a different upbringing, not one that would have led to an Hephaestus, but one that could have led to an Ares. And what we need is an Ares. Now, my good sir, Sir Maxim, if you were in my condition, if you had seen the things I have seen, how would you truly have utilized the godling within yourself if, say, I actually rose you up to enjoy the American baseball, the wonderful elementary that they have to distribute, especially with King George's No Child Left Behind? What would you be? Hmm?
More than likely, I wouldn't exist. And to be honest, that would have probably been the better advent for you. Because you said yourself just now that you were looking for an Ares, and I'm terribly sorry to say you did not get that from my other half. Because despite everything you put him through, that little boy who made it through that hell on earth by turning to pirated comics he stole off the Ethernet, no, that little boy wants to hope. He wants, beyond all measure, to be a good person and to live a normal life. And he has fought tooth and nail for that, even when everyone, from his parents to his guardian to even those around him, have chosen to paint him in a darker light. He has tried, for all of his lacking knowledge in normalcy, to be as normal as he can. The same, I'm afraid, cannot be said for me. Himmel, will you give me a moment to explain what it is I want from you? And more importantly, to put into context why I even agreed to come here under the guise of peaceful terms, especially after I dealt with your other friend so hastily.
If I could at least be given 1 minute to address the kinder that's next to you.
Oh, I was going to leave afterwards, but if you'd like to speak to him first, by all means.
I thank you, Sir Maxim. Dear Spencer, how are you enjoying the, oh, did you need another dozen? What happened to my burger?
Spencer's going to say, sorry, I got hungry. I might need a few more. But you should really pay attention to Jules.
Of course. I just wanted to simply ask if you have considered the prospect that I hope my underlings were able to confer. I do wish to study you. There's a uniqueness about you I have never witnessed. I mean, with certain godlings that I've had the fortune to have in my care, I need to know what makes you. If you do allow me to study you and join us for even just a year, promise for full decades I would not mess with any of your family or friends. I would even leave the America for Lisa Duckett. But I need to study you.
Spencer is confused, understandably, mostly because he's thinking about this decision. And
Take your
good.
time. Go ahead and take your time if you need to. Console, as you watch a, a three-headed mutant erupt from the kitchen with 6 arms, each one carrying like 2 burgers on a plate, as they unceremoniously switch out plates amongst the table and then gather it back. Thank you, Console. By all means, continue considering if it helps, unless you have already made your decision.
No, I still need to think as he takes like some fries and he actually takes his time to eat this time.
Why yes, why yes. Himmel will then look from Spencer to Jules and give a open hand to allow Jules to speak his piece. Jules, you're
My proposition to you is very simple, Himmel. Instead of this stealing our water towers and our water thing, just purchase the water from the town and in return give them cheaper, normal water that doesn't have the slag in it. Stay out of Pyragol, do your research, carry on as normal. There will be no conflicts between us, so long as there is no more super violence brought on by your experiments in Pyragol.
mm, that is a fine offer. As the going rates of water trade is actually pretty well. We can actually offer twice as much as what India has been trying to offer. Those sons of a bitches have been trying to outdo my research, and I will not have that. They don't even know. They don't even research it for the right reason. They're trying to mix it at home for not even proper military reasons. They're trying to make their own Vishnu. Like I'm not even kidding. They're trying to make a whole new Vishnu. They don't even know that's that one. I speak over, but I
Spencer, you need to slightly correct that. He's saying Vishnu. They're trying to create their own god.
no. Spencer actually has it right. The way it was explained in that short bit, that the folks in India, quote unquote, are trying to also butt into this water race in order to study the slag to make their own set of superheroes. That does lead up to the purposes of making a new Vishnu, mostly because their government does not know of the existence of the other gods, including their own.
Right. Carry on where you were with Himmel then.
But yea, I could procure some mountain springs the German the German lakes from home. Make sure they're properly filtered so there's no additives, no dirt, no bacteria, viruses, and all that. I will say jazz, uh, and would gladly be able to purchase this. However, there is one minute hiccup. As I said, India is also trying to purchase, is also trying to butt in the water along with several others. Your town is honestly a large target for many of us who have noticed the wellspring of, how you would say, flagged heroes. Shoot, even some of the metas that we've had in our own home countries seem to pale in comparison to the children that have popped up within just a year. A little child of fire was discovered at your school. Did you know that?
Yes. In fact, I did.
That's one of the rare few who actually can become an elemental. Not to mention the 2 or 3 water creatures that are roaming around there. We can capture one of them. But
As you say, after one of them, there is a moment where Jules starts to tighten his fist a bit, and you can see from his cybernetic eye, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is his left one, that there seems to be a small crack forming across the glass lens of the eye, and steam seems to be emerging, but he is not interrupting Himmel at this moment.
we can just capture one of them. The research. There has to be a stronger compound of slag inside at least one of those moving bodies, comparative to, say, the thousands of gallons we've strained just to get 1 millimeter of metal. 1 millimeter out of 1,000 gallons.
Regardless of what your reasoning is or what you seek to do, I did not make this offer to you, Himmel, as a sign of good grace. Rather, I made it to you because my other half does not want to be Ares. They want to be a good person. I, on the other hand, am perfectly happy to be Ares. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't even think you quite understand the situation you're in. The only thing that is helping me maintain my composure right now is the fact that the other me wants to be a good person. And he deserves to have everything he wants after the hell you and his family have put him through. So allow me to put this into context for you, and I will be slightly pulling from some quotes that you may know in context, so bear with me a moment. Because quite frankly, right now, Himmel, I have one feeling for you, as Maxim rather than as Jace. I have the distinct feeling of hatred, of hate in my heart that is overwhelming. And as he says this, the crack starts to spread wider and more steam starts to emerge from his eye. And he continues to clench his fist until it starts to leak blood and oil from his mechanical fists. He continues talking. Hate, 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 hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you, Himmel, from the moment I've gained the ability to think. There are 1,083,210,000,000 cubic kilometers of mass constituting this miserable little mudball we all inhabit. If the word hate were engraved on each nano-angstrom of that trillion kilometers, it would not equal 1/1000,000th of the hate I feel for you at this micro-instant. Hate. Hate! If I were not the half of mine and Jace's collective being possessing the resolve and constitution of a Greek god, I would surely die of it. But I do possess it. And you, Dr. Himmelfauster, you do not. And should you cross the line, should you or your lackeys even dream of setting foot in Pyragal again with malintent, I will make certain that no matter how hard you fight, no matter how hard you clawed your own flesh in desperation for escape, that you will not die of my hatred. I will make sure that you live, Himmel, and you will regret every nanosecond of that life until the heat death of the universe itself. Even if your flesh rot, your bones melt, and your physical form gives way to nothing more than cosmic dust in a starless sea of light that shall never again find an end to its journey. Cognito ergo sum, Dr. Fauster. You will think, you shall be, and you shall regret evermore. Am I understood?
As you finish that beautiful speech, you do see the vapor coming from your eyes starting to fill up the room as Himmel seems to kind of both sit upright in excitement and lean back in fear as you continue through your speech. And right as you ask him if he understood, there's a slight crack behind him. I think so. Although I must ask. You see him turn slowly back towards the towards the sound, And as you peer behind, look past him, there is a very faint, almost translucent line that seems to have appeared in the space between the walkway and the door. I must ask, was that you?
No, that's a separate matter. Apparently, the universe is coming apart at the seams. Not like we needed anything else. But that aside, it is not related to our conversation for the moment, Dr. Him. Unless something comes through there and needs to be imminently shot to death, it is not relevant. I asked, do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. I. Are you sure that's not? 'Cause I don't. I, okay, noted. You see him like sit back in place before continuously looking back at the particular slowly growing crack, and I do mean grow slowly. Like it was a very minute but very visible dark crack inside this like very whitish establishment for a burger joint, and it is only getting like bigger by millimeters, but it is noticeable. As Dr. Himmel responds, "I understand. I would gladly accept the offer if Spencer here also accepts the offer. And we will gladly be out of America and Paragon entirely. My influence shall be quelled to but only toys meant for children in a safe manner. And I shall purchase the water rights in order to study the flag."
Cannot speak on behalf of Spencer, but I have made my offer. Spencer, enjoy your meeting with the good doctor. I have work to do. You have been warned, Dr. Himmel. And Jules will walk outside, snap his fingers, and the flying rocket surfboard appears. He steps onto it and takes off to go catch up with the transports.
As you do leave, before we switch scenes, in the back here, as in the back of the echoes, you do hear, "And that's why we need an Aries! That's so cool!"
I really appreciate that Dr. Himmel loves the Jules style technology despite the fact Jules wants to fucking murder him.
See, this is what gets resolved. Right.
We were looking for Ares. It took a little while longer, but we got Ares.
Love it. Beautiful.
But yeah, I hope you appreciated the monologue. I've been sitting on that one all day.
It's brilliant. Fucking applaud. That being said, meanwhile, over at the Big Hill Park area, we visit back with Transient, who seems to have just come to his senses after speaking with Truth.
Well, I have a way to seal it.
What do you need to seal it?
According to Truth, we're gonna have to use life energy. He recommends not using my own. Because how tied we are, it could just force whatever's happening on the other side of the crack to become our reality.
Then you should use mine.
We're gonna have to use more than one person's. So,
Well, you can use mine, though I'm not sure how much I actually have, because and Dahlia makes a gesture towards the belt that's still active.
you did. Truth did say yours might be one of the better ones for it.
What about mine?
Well, I can split the strain between all three of you. Give me a minute to start setting up. I've got to do what I need to do in order to actually make this viable. And he'll go ahead and start actually tracing out an alchemic circle around this crack in reality.
Alrighty. As you start making the circle, what attributes are you inheriting into this circle? More than just transmogrification. You of note, you do also recall the other symbols that you've discovered over the past year. So feel free to just let me know which ones you are putting down. Kind of important.
Yeah, the only ones I've seen came from Himmel's tech, and none of them really struck out at Transient himself.
You found that healing one.
Yeah, the healing one. I'm not sure if any of them were noted for being stabilizers. And so I'm gonna go even with perfect recall. Because yeah, I do have eidetic memory. So I'm gonna try to recall whether or not any
Hey,
of them
DM.
have stabilizing effects.
DM.
Yes, Rowan?
Quick question. I've been working with them for a little while now. Has any of this stuff rang a bell?
Ironically, no. Since you, despite your connections around the United States and in certain parts of Danish culture, alchemy was just always thought as a pseudoscience to you. Like you witnessed it in its more birth state when they were still using flasks and um different chemicals being reduced down to like rubido or albedo and the such. But what you're seeing is strange because he's making circle. And while certain alchemical circles were used, they were mostly in paper and transcribed onto the jars. You really, even in your thousands of years, you rarely seen someone actually put the practice onto the ground. And while you've been able to see transient change matter into different states of matter, this is the first time you've seen him make a circle since he's been mostly doing things with a clap. However, I will allow you a history check, which which for you should be if I yeah, there we are.
I'm looking at my
Uh,
stat line. I just don't know which one. I don't know where history is.
well, bear in mind I do like cross-referencing other systems, but it would be an intellect check. And you will have the benefits since you are a long-lived being. You will have a +5 circumstance bonus to the roll.
Okie hero rolls are 1d20. Now my intellect is 5. Do I add that as well?
Yes.
So plus 10. Got a 17 total.
Of all the symbols you recall, it does bring up one particular symbol. in your various talks in one of your previous lives, you had a chat with a doctor who did news about using certain symbols, more of a luck and prayer kind of situation, in hopes that certain chemicals don't explode in their faces. One such symbol that pops in mind is a unique variation that was coined as a stabilizer. While Transient does recall a couple of glyphs, including the recovery glyph that was set on the mother's bereaved, I think it was, or the mother's vest, uh, a uh, a nurse ran hospital, as well as the symbol for combination that was shown and given by Dr. Lee Garrett while you guys were still over at the Juliet Township. In that regard, you can convey about the stabilizer glyph, but yours may not be, but you're kind of 50-50 on it.
Hey guys, I know it's a gamble, but I know something that might be useful. At least worth taking into consideration. Maybe you can look at the symbol that I know and uh, derive some truth from it.
Go ahead and place it here. As he's continuing to draw the circle, he gestures to a small patch of cleared ground.
And she'll go ahead and draw out the symbol.
Once you finish writing the symbol, it's a little awkward, and you're worried that one line might be a bit wider than the other, but it looks all right. Transit, as you spy the symbol that she made, it is a stabilizing rune.
Alright, let's see here. Ah, okay, I can use this. Is altered a little bit as he seems to be making an 8-pointed tetrahedron within the circle itself, with 2 other circles being corresponding, getting smaller as it hits the center. And as he glances back at your rune, yeah, that should be a good core rune. And he'll actually set it directly in the center underneath the rift. Alright, that should do it for the core rune. Let's see here now. Watch as he writes out 4 more symbols on 2 sections of the circle. And then puts what seems to be a very odd circle with a dot in it and one of the remaining spots. Alright, well that should do it for those. These 3 spots as he gestures towards the 3 empty spots in the outermost circle. These are what's going where you 3 are going to have to stand in for this to function.
Quick question above board. Are they close enough that if it was necessary, Rowan could stand on more than one at a time?
Effectively not. Everything is equidistant within this circle. And it's a pretty good sized circle.
Okay.
If you were to make a false simile that could stretch over there and act as a second U, while still being connected by a line of glass, it is possible. But then that runs the risk of if anything does cause that to to suffer. It could destabilize the ritual as well as greater harm than what's about to occur.
Right. Rowan said, we'll go ahead and call it out and just be like, listen, if things start going south for either of you, let me know and I'll take your place. I've lived long enough for many, many people. I would rather you guys keep with what you have.
Well, thanks. Though I'm hoping that I could at least, be of some help. Not sure if it's mostly going to be me or going to be Jace's belt. But I'll fill the space. And Dahlia gives a thumbs up.
I'd go to my space.
That still exists in 2002.
I'm 100% aware of this space.
Transient will go through and check to make sure that no lines were scuffed. Right. Well, everything's set up about as well as I can do it, without truth taking full control. All I can say is, and he'll look at all three of you, don't break the circle. If you do that, I don't know how this can go out of control. And I'm sorry. And he will place his hands upon the circle at that point and start the reaction.
The reaction starts. Everyone can see the glyph all around the break and around themselves start glowing it. At first, it's a simple white light that slowly converts into a blue and then a hazy purple as the transmutation occurs. And that's when you all feel like these not short pricks of energy, not unakin to being shocked, but not the same as being electrified. As you feel yourself being pricked and pinched until something in all three of you feels plucked from deep within, while at the same time off the top of your neck. I will like each. Go ahead.
Can Rowan actually feel this?
Yes, of all the things that you weren't expecting, you feel these pinpricks, pinches, and plucking sensation. One of the rare
Rowan,
times you actually feel something.
Rowan has a massive smile on her face.
Get everyone me a stamina check. DC has already been made.
Not great.
Stamina, you say, eh?
Yep.
Yes. You missed an R there.
I got it.
And speaking of, I'm gonna have to roll for Dahlia. Pulling up Dahlia's.
God bless it.
Do you have bennies?
No, it's not doing the thing.
Yeah, you have to
There
press
we go.
space. Yep. Girly, stop.
I want to say anything that Dahlia wouldn't.
Dahlia would use a Benny.
I'll
On a
make one more
5?
roll.
Yeah.
There we go. So as everyone is feeling these sensations, there is a sudden plucking feeling coming from each of you at the top of your neck. For Rowan, it is the first sensation you felt in over a century. And despite the slight pain, there's a certain sweetness to it for you, given that this is an experience, one that you haven't had in a long time. For Dahlia, there's a certain uh, shout, kind of scream before she grits her teeth and calms herself, as she hasn't felt pain like this for a hot moment, especially given how protective she has been of her upper torso and head. But she does calm down and is able to feel this energy go through. Wilda, as you feel the pluck start at the top of your neck, it feels like someone is digging a knife into your neck and being. And while the knife is carving, you don't feel the cut, but you feel the agony. You will take a -2 penalty towards a toughness check, as everyone will need to roll toughness. Save for
Ooh.
Talia.
I'm keeping
Yes.
it, DM.
Thank you for being the baseline for how bad this could be.
Yeah, I'm doing my job.
Okay.
I will use a Benny.
Okay. Seems a bit better.
Yep. And I'll go and minus a Benny, or I could do it here. Huh?
Yep. So once more going from Rowan. Rowan, you feel a wave of fatigue start hitting you, as well as your body attempting to feel this terrible ache. And as you're relishing this sensation again, it quickly fades back to the numbness that you're used to as you endure the moments. For Dahlia, she seems to almost almost shout again from the sensation before suddenly the battery on the belt goes from being about 90% full down to 10% and rapidly beeping as hers finishes up. While Wilda, once you feel this wave of exhaustion hits you and this knife-like feeling get deeper, and then suddenly a snap occurs. You fall to the ground. You are dazed. You are hindered. You're stunned even at a sensation of what feels like someone taking something from your brain stem. Transient, you watch as the ritual goes off. You see your girlfriend suffering. You see your new friend almost ecstatic at the sensation. You watch as Dahlia almost starts to re-decay as her belt seems to immediately time out or you immediately run out of energy through the whole process. But you are able to witness as three golden threads of life get extracted and start following the arcs in the air towards the interdimensional break. They hover around for a moment, waiting on the final tie. Would you mind giving me one more alchemy check in order
Uh,
to
you
tie
have to give me a
these?
second. I got to do a will save.
Right, fair. I did prompt that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
I'm keeping that.
Everything seems to be going according to plan. And as you see the threads get close, you're getting ready to finish the tying. And but as your eyes lock on with Wilda, you see her collapse down and start to fall outside of the circle. Out of instinct, you leap from your space and run over to her to catch her from falling. This causes a disruption in the circle. Now, full
Not quite.
disruption. Oh, well, go ahead. Describe what happens.
Transient can't be in the circle, otherwise he becomes part of the ritual.
Hmm.
But he's also fueling it. So the moment he removes his hands from it, it it will start trying to fuel itself as he runs over to Wilda.
Oh, goodness. And of course, we both agree that this type of fueling usually takes a tectonic plate's energy, right?
That's how most alchemy is used. It takes the energy of the moving plates to fuel itself.
Okay, I'm going to give a scenario of what happens. Feel free to tell me right or wrong, and if it's wrong, I will craft a different scenario in opposition until we find a proper compromise. So as you leave the circle starts uh, emitting a stronger pull, not from anyone in particular, but from the surrounding area. The flowers and lavender uh, petals that were all around you start losing color and seem to almost wither away. There seems to be a second moment right as you catch Wilda that suddenly there is a quick shake of the earth and suddenly a split. So, give me a second.
Did they
Uh-oh.
steal food from you?
We have cats. Oh no. We have a lot of dead air.
Yeah. I hear him talking, but I don't know who to who.
A call maybe?
Maybe.
Fun! An altered alchemy ritual going out of control.
Yep. The on-call phone doesn't like this game.
He's had the on-call phone for almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Well, no, he had last week off. He's just getting it every other
Yep.
week now.
Except for Saturday, when he had it.
Oh. Yeah, it changes on Friday.
He's had it every Saturday.
Oh.
Literally every single one.
Given how long this call's taking?
It sounds like, well, he just said, "Hey, boss," so I think he called his boss.
Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo.
At this rate, we'll never get through this.
Nope.
Because apparently the universe doesn't want us fixing the universe. Ace, you're on mute.
Universe is like, please stop breaking reality.
Yes, but unfortunately, I really can't be shouting into the void like that without, breaking my mic anyways. So I might as well be muted. We will have to conclude here. I have a real life situation to go take care of,
God damn
and
it.
we will. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. I was already trying to give the argument that is not in the right position for this current situation, but I was told otherwise by my regional.
Oh, god damn it. All right.
So we
I
will
will make
touch
note
back
of
in
that.
about. Yes, please,
Speaks.
please do. We will touch back with you all in 2 weeks as we discover what exactly happens to the transmutation circle now that it's being powered by the Earth itself.
Well, it
Well-
was already being powered by the Earth itself. That's just how natural circle alchemy goes.
Fair.
Because I could not power it, I was controlling the ritual. The ritual is
But
now
now-
out of control.
We all
Oh,
know that.
Maybe. But we will touch this. We'll have this as the start of the next session 2 weeks from now. Everyone, I want to thank you for joining us here for this unfortunate short sessions. I swear to goodness, I need to just discuss with my coworkers to see if I can just hold on to the phone another week, so that way I can switch the times I have this my work, so it's not conflicting with my hobby. But until then, see you in 2 weeks' time as we come back to Master Not.
Bye.
I see you first.